If you guys don't know what's going on with the whole thing with Donald Trump and the $355 million fraud case, well, we could simplify this in this video and tell you what's going on. And even the truckers are now coming out in protest, which is pretty crazy because usually truckers are not going to be boycotting major cities. It's a very rare thing to do. But right now, truckers, many of them, are boycotting New York. Now, check this out. New York's Get Trump attorney says she's prepared to seize Trump's buildings if he's unable to pay the insane $355 to almost $400 million judgment payment. This is an enormous number, and Trump has a few buildings in New York. These assets include the iconic Trump Tower, which they actually pat you down and make you go through airport security to get through, the Trump Park Avenue, 1290 Avenue of Americas, 40 Wall Street, which is a very iconic building, and also a golf club, and also Seven Springs. So these are some pretty big properties, and I think Trump is going to have to sell 1 to maybe 2 buildings to pay this off. So right now there's a 30-day deadline, and Trump is going to have to pay for this, and they might just suddenly seize his building. Now, let me tell you guys what's going on, because Kevin O'Leary actually educates a lot of people about the fraud trial and says that if this is fraud, then every developer in America will be penalized like Trump and get their building seized. Kevin O'Leary says that you get a developer that builds a building, says it's worth $400 million. He wants to borrow $200 million from the bank. This happens every single day. It's not special. Honestly, this happens to smaller developers. You got developers building like small townhouses at like $2 to $3 million, and they use that to borrow more cash. The whole point of investing is going into debt, which could terrify some people, but that's just how it is. This has gone on for decades. This is how it works. The bank that was supposed to testify in the trial said that they didn't lose anything and they want to do business with Trump. They'll like to, but the judge said no to the bank and the bank didn't really get to testify. So let's penalize this developer for almost $400 million. And like what O'Leary said, if this is the case for America real estate in the future, well, I guess everyone should just stop building houses and stop doing developments, because this is one of the most common things in real estate. So this is why a lot of people are kind of frustrated over this, because they're like, why Trump, right? There's developers bigger than Trump. There's developers, whole entire companies that build several billions of dollars worth of real estate. Trump is actually considered more like a mid-sized developer compared to like the bigger guys out there. So this is why truckers right now are pretty furious. Like this guy had 2 New York City loads that he turned down earlier this day, one for the Bronx and one for Riverhead, and chose to do it for Texas, which was shorter and you made just as amount of cash. Many truckers are now feeling the heat. Okay, truckers generally don't like New York anyway, so this is just another incentive for them to not go. And look at this. One of the reasons people say that they're targeting Trump is maybe because Trump has a lot of money and New York City is going broke. Apparently, Mayor Adams is giving so much money out and they're taking in so many migrants to the point that the whole entire situation is about to implode. The migrant crisis in New York City is nothing to joke about, considering New York, one of the biggest financial capitals in the world. They're filthy rich. Their GDP alone is worth more than some countries, and they're going bankrupt because of the migrant crisis. And look at this. Walter Bloomberg says best. Migrant pressure affecting budgets of New York City, Chicago, and Denver. And if you look at what the S&P global ratings say in the reports, this is going to be a very challenging time for big cities, especially New York. Because without state or federal government supports, these costs are enough to strain budgets and put pressure on credit quality. And many of these mayors have no clue what in the world they're doing. It's okay to take in some migrants, but it's not okay when you take in almost 100,000 migrants and now you can't even care for your own population. And so this is why a lot of people say this could be very dirty, because maybe New York needs money and they're seizing Trump's buildings. And that's kind of like the major rumor that's circulating the web right now. But comment below, how do you guys think about this? It's one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. There's a lot of drama going on with New York City right now, from truckers to migrants to Trump right now. It's every day.